G'day guys, my name is Wildkard, welcome back. Well, a lot of you guys were complaining that I was too quiet in my previous video and lacked a bit of oomph in my presentation. Well, I was, in the middle of a hotel lobby, and there were literally guests and people walking around. Didn't want to cause a scene and have myself arrested, but hey, I did the best I could for today's video. I am here at the Northern. Can you see the sign? Northern Rugby Club. Now you might be asking me, Wildcard, where exactly is the Northern Rugby Club in New Zealand? Quite frankly, I don't actually fucking know, okay? It is literally somewhere in the northern side of the North Island in New Zealand, and it's in the middle of fucking nowhere. There are cows down in the distance. I don't know if you can see it, like literally cows walking around in the mountain hillside. There's not a single person here because it's New Zealand. Hello? Anyone here wants to talk about rugby? Hello? No one's literally around in 100 miles. And yeah, the greatest rugby game in the history of the human race will happen this weekend between the Wallabies against the All Blacks here in New Zealand at Eden Park. And quite frankly, ladies and gentlemen, I'm a little bit disappointed with some of the reception I got with the locals I've spoken to here in New Zealand. I've spoken to waitresses, I've spoken to, random people walking around in the park. The interest's just not there, to my surprise, I was expecting, everybody to be talking about the Wallabies, everybody to be talking about the All Blacks, everybody talking about, supporting the team and, a bounce back from the loss against the Springboks. None of that. A lot of the people I spoke to didn't even know that it was happening this weekend. And, to be fair, to be honest, I drove probably 200-300 kilometers north of Auckland at this point, and I haven't seen a single All Blacks flag or sign or, go the All Blacks sign or a sign that says Wallabies fans not allowed or anything like that along the way. So yeah, I'm very, very disappointed. I'm very, very surprised at how far the game has really fallen here in New Zealand. I know maybe I have a bit of a hazy memory from a childhood, because I remember when I came to New Zealand as a kid, everywhere it was just rugby everywhere. Like, there were All Black flags everywhere, and you just, like, everywhere you go, everywhere you went, you had that sense of like rugby, and it's entrenched into the Maori culture. You were greeted at, restaurants by the hakas and stuff. Maybe it was just me as a child remembering things differently, but man, I'm very, very surprised the lack of, excitement for the greatest game in the history of the world this weekend. Potentially the greatest game ever in rugby. And yeah, obviously the news as well. I was listening to the radio. Did you guys hear the big news came out of New Zealand this week? Oh, by the way, it is a sock on my microphone. It's a bit windy, so hopefully that's gonna block the wind a little bit. But yeah, did you guys hear the big news out of New Zealand? The New Zealand, let me just find a place to sit down for a second. The New Zealand farming industry, obviously, right? The biggest news out of the New Zealand right now is the New Zealand what is it? The New Zealand dairy company. The New Zealand dairy company made record profits this year, right? Like, look, this is literally all over the news. I mean, guys, my goodness, 1.1 billion net profit for a dairy company, and they're paying out 50 cents dividend, and apparently they're doing they're selling off like one of the businesses as well, and that business, the sale from part of that business is going to be paid off as a special dividend, tax free. I mean, my goodness, how stupid am I to be investing my money in AI in stupid companies like Oracle and Nvidia? I should be investing in dairy in New Zealand. My goodness. And also there was like, also the other tiny news that they mentioned on the radio. Scooter, the man from New Plymouth, right, injured for the weekend. The man that supposedly the captain of the All Blacks got a brief mention for about 5 seconds, almost a passing comment on the radio today, like, Scotty Barrett's not going to be playing this weekend, guys. Adi Savier's taking over the captaincy. To my surprise, right? I mean, how seriously, what's going on here in New Zealand? I am very, very surprised about the overall state of rugby, and I'm quite frankly a little bit concerned. This is just me. Oh, I did not expect this from New Zealand. I expect this in Tasmania or something, right? Like in Melbourne or something. But my goodness, this was New Zealand. But hey, never mind. I am here to watch rugby. I'm here to to witness the greatest game that shall ever be played this weekend in rugby. So yeah, Scooty is out. Adi Savia has taken over the captaincy, and obviously a match of this monumental occasion, he has to go to a referee of world-class capabilities, and it's going to be Andrea Piatti. He was, correct me if I'm wrong, he was the second test referee for the Lions tour, and he owes us one for that decision against Tazano. He did not call the high shot. Okay, let's I'm just maybe it's in his mind, maybe he feel like he owes us something, but to be fair, it was a TMO decision as well, not quite all his decision, but maybe he owes us something to blow the whistle for us in this game. So I'm feeling a little bit good about having Piatti here with us, especially like we had dealt with him just like less than a month ago in another game. So hopefully it's not too windy for everyone to be listening to. Let me just turn this around so I'm blocking the wind a little bit, so just hearing the wind blow into the microphone. But yeah, it is one of those things where you think that he's gonna he could potentially had a better relationship, have a better understanding of what the players I guess the players have a better understanding of what the referee is expecting based on that second test match against the Lions. And obviously, I do see that the referee could be a bit of an advantage here for the Aussies. And overall, to be honest, I think he's just fine the way that he interprets everything. He's actually quite a decent referee overall. But I do think that the Wallabies has a little bit of edge just because of the fact that we had him at the Lions tour very recently with a albeit controversial decision against the Wallabies. The weather in Auckland supposed to be raining this whole week. I've been driving around for the last couple of days, heading up north, and I seriously hasn't been rained on at all. It's a tiny bit drizzle every now and then, like literally I hardly caught it being rained on at all. But it looks like this weekend at Eden Park, it's going to be raining quite heavily potentially. And that's okay. That's fine. A bit of mud, bit of a grit is exactly what rugby is about. Getting the jerseys dirty is what we do here in the Southern Hemisphere, right? So yes, the men who are going to be given the pleasure and privilege to represent the nations for this game has been announced, and boy, monumental changes to the Wallabies as well. We talked about this yesterday where Andrew Callaway was injured and been replaced, and as the speculations unfolded, it is indeed that the youngster, what's his name? Jorgensen has been given that spot at the fullback. I'm grateful that it is Jorgensen and not Swali'i. And I think that it is just going to be one of those games where you're going to just have to get thrown into the deep end and do your best, and hopefully you turn out okay for everybody. And it's just going to be one of those games that gonna be. No one's going to know what's going to happen, which is the beauty of this game. So, with the All Blacks, they made some changes as well with the Scotty injured. But let's have a look at the men that will be representing their respective nations for this monumental occasion. So coming in number 1, we've got Ethan de Groot. I am Groot for the All Blacks for number 1. Cody Taylor, number 2. And Tyrell Lomax retains the number 3 jersey. To my surprise, I thought Lomax has been average at best against the Springboks. He gets to move out to the start. To the bit of a confidence thing. One interesting thing I actually spoke to one person today. He reckons that, the eye patch Crusaders, they call it like one eye Crusaders, or whatever they call them. They have like a very, interesting, internal culture there at Crusaders. And he feels like that Razor has an inability to connect with players outside of that Crusaders culture, and he thinks that's one of the reasons why the teams are struggling, which is actually quite interesting because I obviously did not know the one eye patch Crusaders whatever history that he was talking about, and I thought that that is actually quite an interesting perspective because we have seen Razor favoring a lot of his Crusader mates, old team, underlings, I guess. over some of the more prominent players. And yeah, so we'll have to see how this is going to go. And, you know, Lomax and De Groo has been like a staple for the All Blacks. And we've seen that, you know, Fletcher Newell and Tamati Williams been selected ahead of those two guys at times. So it's interesting to see that Razor has actually gone back to, you know, what's considered the go-to All Blacks, you know, at least recently for the starting, you know, tight end and loose air position. Jem Slipper returns for the Wallabies. The veteran will get another shot at the glory for the Bledisloe Cup. Yeah, and he's going to be on the field with that old mate. Old mate is going to be on the field holding his hand. The former James O'Connor. These two guys played each other in high school. Let me tell you a little bit of story about James O'Connor as well in high school. So, when I was a kid, Richie McCaw came to play in Brisbane, and he, like, you know, the great Richie McCaw decided to lend everyone the Bledisloe Cup to have everyone take the photos after the game. So they literally had the Bledisloe Cup at Nudgee, at Ross Oval. Everybody who finished their games will go to the cup and have your photos taken with the cup. And then somebody had to rush the cup to the stadium before the kickoff with, like, you know, 2-3 hours, fight off the traffic and stuff. And, you know, that's the stuff that they used to do to promote the game. That's the stuff Richie McCaw did to promote the game amongst us. And on that day, I'm pretty sure that was the first time James O'Connor touched the Bledisloe Cup in his entire life. Because that was the first time I touched the Bledisloe Cup. And to be honest, there was a dent on back of the cup. And the rumor had it was that, you know, one of the drunk Kiwis potentially was, what's his name? The blonde tip guy that dropped the cup at some point, dented the cup at the back. I'm pretty sure it's fixed now, but maybe someone can tell me if that there was indeed can confirm that was a dent in back of the cup. What was his name? Anyway, it was a rumor anyway. It doesn't really matter who he was. What was his name? But anyway, so people were saying that, they're joking around, saying that the Kiwis dropped the cup and broke it. But yeah, that was the first time James O'Connor, I'm pretty sure, touched the cup, and he was probably about 16 years old back then. He was playing a grade above. That's how good this kid was. He was playing a grade above. And I remember playing against him, and we lost by 6 points at Ross Oval. And I remember the coaching staff graciously told us that Ross Oval, they call it at Nudgee. I was the visiting team. They call it at Nudgee the 7-point advantage, and we lost by 6. 6 points kicked by James O'Connor was the difference that separated my team and Nudgee College First 15. And the 6-point advantage, 7-point advantage was what the coaches said. They called the Ross Oval, and, you know, we all had our photos taken with the Bledisloe Cup afterwards. Seriously, I think this will be a perfect finish to the story of James O'Connor. You know, that was the first time he touched the Bledisloe Cup, and this is coming up to the end of his career. And I think this is the best opportunity for him to finally fulfill his destiny as a great Wallaby of forever and win the Bledisloe Cup and bring it back to the Ross Oval, to the 7-point advantage, back home to the fans in Brisbane. And I think this will be a great time to finish off his career. Sam as well. James Slipper played in the same competition. He played up for TSS. He actually won the championship that year in TSS, and I'm pretty sure he punched me in the face in the game that we played. But hey, it could be someone else, but I'm pretty sure it was him. But anyway, that story aside, I think this will be just a monumental occasion for the Wallabies, for James O'Connor, for a lot of these players who's been through a lot, for long careers like James Slipper, to finish off in a fairy tale end, fairy tale kind of story to all of their, extraordinary careers. Anyway, James Slipper coming number 1, Billy Pollard comes in number 2, and Tenela Tupou comes in number 3. He's been so good in scrummaging as well. So I'm looking forward for the Groot and Tupou battle to go ahead once again. And I think Tupou, hopefully he gets a bit of a heads up there. Coming number 4, Fabian Holland and Tupou Va'a'i. Holland has been moved up to from the bench to fulfill this position for Scooty. And then we've got Nick Frost for the Wallabies. And Salakai Loto, someone I thought should have played in the Lions test, has been called in for the Wallabies at number 5. Coming in the loose forwards now, we got Simon Parker for the All Blacks. Again, he's been pretty good, much better than I was expecting, to be honest. He's proven me wrong. I had some doubts with him and his, I had some doubts for him. I thought Papali'i maybe could have been moved in here and have Savea moved to number 8 and Satidia number 6. But he has proven me wrong, has done a quite fantastic job, quite a workhorse actually, out of number 6 jersey. We got Tom Hooper for the Wallabies at number 6. Fraser McWright, a BGS boy. And Grammar Man comes in number 7. We got Henry Wilson, the captain himself, comes in number 8. Ardie Savea has taken over the captaincy for the All Blacks at number 7 for the black jersey. I thought Ardie should have been the captain, probably from the start of the season. And, and there were some talks that obviously, the All Blacks captaincy is kind of like the ring of power from the Lord of the Rings. Gives you tremendous amount of respect and power and, recognition in the world of rugby, but yeah, it really weighs on you. You whisper you dark thoughts in the middle of the night. Dark thoughts like, what happens if you lose to the Wallabies at Eden Park? Stuff like that will be going through Ardie Savea's mind, and I'm sure he's going to rise to the occasion to fight off a lot of those, fight off the burden of the All Blacks captaincy, for his team. Wallace the TT comes in number 8, the guy. Once again, returning to form, almost immediately filling into the team once he returned from injury. Big return for the All Blacks as well, Cameron Royka. I was surprised that he was allowed to play at NPC last weekend, but he has survived, and he is here at number 9. He's absolutely outstanding. Curtis Ratama as well, coming out from injury, so not quite as dire as the situation the All Blacks has been in the 9 jersey. Tate McNugget gets number 9 jersey for the Wallabies. What's his name? The Waratahs number 9 gets his return, but he's not at the starting position. But yeah, Tate McDermott has been quite nice for the Wallabies, performing recently as well. Just a lot of energy, something that I think it's. I'm surprised that Nick White's not here, but I think that he's going to bring a bit of a difference here out of the 9. I think Nick White is Nick White injured again? I think Nick is injured again, is he? But anyway, Tate McDermott gets number 9 jersey. We'll see. I think that he's definitely grown a lot, and he's still got a long way to go. And this will be a great opportunity for him to take another step up against Cameron Royka. I think one of the best halfbacks in the world right now. Coming in number 10, 2 veterans now, very similar in age. We got Bowden. Bowden Barrett comes in number 10, and a lot of the Wallabies fans would know the devastation that Bowden Barrett has inflicted upon us over the years, and hopefully he gets his comeuppance this weekend at Eden Park. Unlikely, but we'll see. And James O'Connell, we've talked about him, comes in number 10 in the starting position. He's going to do a lot of work to cover the fullback position as well tonight, especially some of the kicking game that come out of Bowden. It's going to really keep things quite interesting. Coming in at 11, Caleb Clark, the double C, comes back at number 11. He hasn't really played much rugby. He's played in NPC, hasn't played much rugby. I mean, in the Super Rugby and Test level. So good to see him back, but I mean, just the size and speed that this guy brings is always difficult to deal with. Corey Toole comes in number 11. For the Wallaby, has been really, really good for Wallabies recently as well. Coming in the center combinations now, Geordie Barrett gets number 12 jersey as the second playmaker, backing up his brother. And number 13, Billy Proctor. A lot of you guys are actually not happy with the performance of Billy Proctor. To be honest, I think it's a difficult choice. You either have Billy or you go with Rico, and I think Billy right now has a little bit more impact than Rico. I don't see Billy that much better than Rico. I think he's just slightly better in terms of being an impact ball runner than Rico at the moment. But yeah, it's a bit of a slim picking out there at the moment for the 13 jersey for the All Blacks. And then for the Wallabies, plenty of talents here. We've got Len Nikita at 12. Again, growing his carry game quite a bit recently as well. Strong carries shown by him against the Springboks. Something that I thought he was lacking a little bit. Because he played 13 for so much, and he just immediately just developed that and just creating opportunities for players around him with that hard carry there as well. Great to see that he just adapted that style so quickly. Something that a lot of the All Blacks fans have been calling Geordie Barrett to do, and hasn't quite been able to deal with that Maya Nonu style of carry game for the All Blacks as of yet. And then we've got Joseph Akusu Swali'i. Coming in number 13. He has been absolutely grown in strides for the Wallabies out of the 13 jersey. And we'll have to see how they're going to use him. Maybe they're going to use him. To be honest, I felt like the up and unders for him, it's not quite the way to go. I think that, the post-contact offloads for him from Ikitau is a better play to the way to utilize him than the up and unders and try to get him to go up and pat the ball back style. But we'll have to see if the Wallabies going to make any changes in that game plan there. And number 14 for the All Blacks, once again, Leroy Carter making a debut last game and scoring as well in his debut opportunities. The man with some of the biggest legs I've ever seen. Harry Porter gets caught in number 14. I thought Dalgunu would be number 14, but Harry Porter is just fine. If Dalgunu is on the bench, I'm actually a little bit surprised Dalgunu is not starting. But then again, Joe Schmidt wants the team to finish strong, so it kind of makes sense. If you think about it, to have a stronger player to come off the bench in the form of Dalgunu than having Harry Porter on the bench. And especially Dalgunu has the versatility to cover center as well. Should there be an injury, he could potentially move there to cover that as well. So more versatility on the bench for Dalgunu there. We've got Will Jordan comes in with 15. And finally, Max Jorgensen, the talents, one of the greatest talents the Wallabies has ever had, moves to the number fullback position at number 15. Coming on the bench now, we got Somasani Taukiaho for the All Blacks from the Chiefs, Tamati Williams and Fletcher Neal, the Crusaders duo, 17 and 18. We got Brendan Paga and Morsa coming assisting, and the big boy, Angus Bell, comes in number 17. And we got the return of Alan Alatoa, the Triple A, returns for the Wallabies at the tight head position coming off the bench. He is absolutely huge this year. His carry game, his just like the power game that is developed in Super Rugby has been, I thought was just incredible improvement to his carry game. Like the amount of tries that he scored in Super Rugby just by punching through, picking and go in short distance has been outstanding for him this season. I'm looking forward for him to come off the bench, make an impact in those short pick and goes. Coming up, number 19, Patrick Tupulotu has been called in as a result of the Scotty Barris injury. Peter Lakai gets called in as well, number 20 from the Hurricanes as a loose forward. For the Wallabies, Jeremy Williams comes in number 19, and Carlo Tazzano comes in number 20. Cortez Radama gets the number 21 jersey. And Ryan Lonergan, the fact that Ryan Lonergan's here, I think Nick White must be injured. Nick White must be injured for Ryan Lonergan to get the call here. Ryan Lonergan has been outstanding for the Brumbies for quite some time now, and he finally is going to get an opportunity to shine here against the All Blacks. Number 22, Quinn Tupaia. Again, he's got a vendetta against the Wallabies for getting injured so long in the Bledisloe Cup game a number of years ago. And then Tan Edmund comes in number 22. And finally, number 23, we got the D-Mac, Damien McKenzie, against Filippo Dalgunu. Now, how do I think this game's going to go? I think regardless of the weather, if it's raining, if it's muddy, it doesn't matter what it is, the Wallabies cannot go out there and just try to milk penalties. They need to push and stick to their game plan and try to push for tries, and try to not wait till the second half, last 20 minutes to do that as well. Really try to sustain the pressure for the entire game, and that is the key way. No matter how far you're behind the scoreboard, no matter how difficult it is, how wet it is, the Wallabies needs to be persistent on the game plan and try to score tries and don't kick those penalties. If the Wallabies can do that, I have a feeling that this could be a history-making moment. But yeah, it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be tough, and hopefully I'm not just gonna sit there in the rain and watch the Wallabies get flogged. Wish us luck. I predict Wallabies winning this one 25 points to 18. Let me know your thoughts, guys. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and have a good one. Cheers.